It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back. I wanted to talk about a particular video that one of you guys suggested. Shout out to Domichi for this. And this was from Nano Loops, titled The Problem with Windows of Opportunity in DBD. I wanted to take a bit of a portion
or help turn this game around. You have Sprint Burst, where you literally press shift for free distance. Lithe, which is press space for free distance. Finesse, which not only makes you vault very fast, but also shrinks your hitbox to the size of a roach. But as killer, you can usually tell right off the bat if survivors have these perks, but there's one exception that sits at the top of the meta constantly, and it's actually one of the worst perks in this entire game to me. Not because it's a bad perk per se, but because it completely kills skill expression and should be renamed to training wheels in many cases.
That snippet right there, I think, really encapsulates my biggest issues with DBD as a whole, right? Obviously, there are plenty of perks that are passive. There are plenty of perks that do give you value just for kind of existing, right? And some of those are like brutal strength on killer or agitation, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, where, you know, you're just getting a little bit of a bonus that will give you value because it's there and because you're doing the right thing. When I look at survivor balancing, I look at survivor perks, it's like you quite literally are not doing anything, but receiving a gigantic amount of pressure just off of the sheer existence of the perk, the sheer existence of its value, the sheer existence of what it does. And that's the list that was being stated by the creator there, was literally my biggest problem with the game as a whole. Ultimately, that's my biggest issue with it. It's the free value that comes into place with it. Because keeping in mind that these perks are able to provide insane value, which, mind you, they're multi-use. They're not just like, oh, in this particular situation you can unlock Sprint Burst and you get value for it. No, that's not what happens. As being described in the video, you are essentially just pressing a button and you're going to get value. That's how it goes. And Sprint Burst in general is one of the most brainless exhaustion perks that are in the game at the moment. It's kind of ridiculous, right? And that's my problem, right? That's my issue with when it comes down to the survivor side as a whole. It's because like they are constantly dropping updates that cater to the casual player, that cater to the player that refuses to learn anything, that refuses to engage with the gameplay, that refuses to want to do anything remotely interesting with their game, right? Because it's all based around how much free distance can I get for pressing space? How much free distance can I get for pressing Shift W? And it's like you'll constantly get posts that sit here and try to like gaslight you and say, oh my god, this killer is so boring. Oh my god, you can't even loop. You can't do anything. And it's like, if you really did want to loop, you would not Shift W around the entire map and do nothing but pre-drop in and fly away all the time. That just wouldn't be the case if that were true. It's just simply not the case. It just would not be the case if that really were the case, that really were true. Because then it would actually make a difference what the killer can actually do. It would actually make a difference what kind of killer expression that you can see. But no, that's not what they're focused on. Every bit of content that you see coming out of the survivor side that is the most popular, because there are fantastic creators that are offering educational content to try to improve, to try to show survivors how to loop better. Shout out to Mr. Taterhead. Those resources exist, those things exist. But that is not something that you will see get the most popular of content, because the most popular of content is just dunking on a fresh installed trapper with frosty eyes. That's their greatest accomplishment, is to go against players that have no idea what the hell they're doing and getting free wins off of that, getting free clips off of that. And keeping that in mind, right, it pretty much boils down to the main reason of why this creator was making this video and his windows of opportunity. Now, I've spoken extensively about why I really dislike windows of opportunity as a whole. I've spoken so extensively about it because it's like it's such a brainless perk. And I find it extremely ironic because when you actually look at the definition of what a window of opportunity is, you'll sit there and say, damn, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. And I'm actually pretty curious. Let's actually look up what a window of opportunity is defined as. Webster Dictionary definition of a window of opportunity: it is the time where there is a chance to do something. So my issue is, right, within just the very definition of the perk, the very literal phrase that it's supposed to be based off of, right, is the fact that it's literally a window of opportunity. That means that it's supposed to be a chance that you can do something. Now, I believe lore-wise, it's supposed to be like a Kate Denson song or something like that, so maybe obviously the definition can be stretched a little bit. But if we're taking away that lore aspect and we're just taking the perk by its base definition, what it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to be called, and by definition, it's supposed to be a chance to do something, a chance to get away. And by windows of opportunity's very basic definition, it is quite literally the opposite. It shouldn't be called window of opportunity. It should be infinite opportunities, because the fact of the matter is the aura reading for every window and pallet is constantly lit up on the screen the entire time. So in what situation does it make any goddamn sense that they can keep just using it over and over and over? No cooldowns, no nothing. And because of the pallet density update, as we've also covered previously, that they've never reverted, they never fixed it, they're fully able to sit there and continue to pre-drop, fly off, pre-drop, fly off, pre-drop, fly off. And there's just literally no reason to play any differently. There's no reason to do anything, interesting with that aspect. And that's why I have been discussing, the survivor entitlement so heavily. That's why I've been discussing the overarching issues with this game having to be overall the perk balancing, the survivor entitlement. Like, all these things are coming together to kill this game. And I sit here and I say, like, damn, this game really has potential for greatness. This game really has the potential to be great. Like, it's supposed to be this museum of horror. It should have a better reputation. But it's well known that this game is falling off the wayside. It's well known that this game is a complete shit show. The amount of people that can look at this game and go, I'm never playing that. I'm never going to join that community. I'm never going to ever play that game is astronomical at this point. And that's why I've covered even like when Queso was talking about the game, because I figured that if a casual player like Queso with a large following is pointing out his distaste for this game, and many people may agree with that, right? They may agree with that take. I can only imagine how many more people that we don't even hear from, that we don't even know, have the same opinion, that had the same concept and idea that this game is not playable. It's not meant to be played by anybody. It's not meant for anyone. It's horrible. And it's ridiculous because we have perk balancing like windows of opportunity, like the Decisive Strike, like Dead Hard, like Shoulder the Burden, that are completely destroying the balance of the game. And I don't understand like why this game is headed in this direction, because every time an ASIM has gone into this direction, it's always failed. It's always failed. Video Horror Society, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right, are two examples that come to mind that I know that ASIMs have pretty much died. Video Horror Society specifically being a game that I know that died because they made Killer so unplayable. And Texas Chainsaw also just having bad development. Those developers were very against their players and how they decided to play, which is very reminiscent of a certain developer that we also are aware of that develops the game that we're talking about, right? there are certain things that are parallel with these games that cause them to fail. And windows of opportunity is just one of those things. It's one of the many, like, 1,000 cuts. You know, like the Blade Ultimate. You know, 1,000 cuts. Where the game's downfall is just right up ahead. And somehow the game keeps skating by. I really do think it's because of the license holders. You know what I mean? They're really pumping this game up so it can survive, it feels like. But without the licenses, I genuinely would be shocked if this game could survive. I genuinely would be shocked. Because honestly, the balancing is all over the place. The community is a complete septic tank of goblins, like with entitlement issues, toxicity problems, and just mental illness is my understanding of it, because they have like this weird desire to want to make everyone feel bad, to make everyone upset, to make everyone hate the other. And it's like, why? Like, that's not a healthy mindset to think that way, to want to be able to make people miserable. Like, that this doesn't make any sense. And there's so many people in this community that want that. They live and breathe toxicity and anger and hate, and that's what they want to do all day. They just want to bring everyone down. It doesn't matter what. And it's really funny because it's usually coming from the survivor end, and it's not all, right? It's not all survivors, but for unfortunate reasons, it's usually a survivor player that's doing this to usually a killer player. Now, are there killer players that are also just as toxic? Of course, but there just happens to be more survivor players than there are killer players in general. But both sides do have that problem. So that's mainly what I just kind of wanted to kind of rant about today, I guess. It's a bit what's the word for it? Unorganized, I guess. But I wanted to use that snippet that from that video that you guys suggested to kind of use it as a springboard to talk about the rest of the stuff that's been on my mind with this game, because it's such a horrible game. Like, it's such a horrible community, and I don't consider my community, and I don't consider you guys that watch this a part of that community, because I feel like if you are a part of this DBD community, it's like you're just almost a part of the problem. Like, you're almost a part of the bigger toxic issue. And I figure that if you are a part of this content and you are a part of my community, I don't think that we are the DBD community. I don't think we represent the DBD community, because we actually use logic, we actually use evidence to prove our points, we actually have, you know, points to be made, and we care about this game's health. And a lot of us are kind of just sick and tired of it. And I'm sick and tired of it too, honestly. That's why you guys have seen me, like, I just been playing other stuff as well. You know, we'll get in our little bit of DBD for the day, and then we'll swap off, because I know that people still tune in for that. And it's really unfortunate, because I wish that more people could wake up and smell the roses and see that there's just other games out there that are way more enjoyable, that are way more worth your time. And that's why I just have plans to just make other content on the side and talk about games that are actually worth talking about. And that'll hopefully be way more fulfilling than the slop fest that we have to deal with in this game. It's a damn shame. You know what I mean? It is a damn shame, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's just the fact of the matter. So, let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section. And I will see you guys in the next one. Alright, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members, Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not J-Lo, Evil Peach, Hargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.